Hi, I'm Rachel from 7 and All, and today I'm going to be talking about why our family has a low-tech homeschool. This is part of a technology and homeschool collab hosted by Shawna at World of Washabaugh. And if you know me, you might be wondering, why in the world is Rachel joining a collab about technology and homeschool? Like, she literally claims to raise screen-free babies. And so here's the thing, Shawna specifically said that people from all ends of the technology using spectrum were welcome to join this collab. So I took her up on the invitation and here I am. Now I should let you know, clearly I'm not 100% opposed to technology. I am on YouTube, I'm on Instagram, I use technology, I'm a writer, so I'm always writing on the computer in basically all of my spare time. I appreciate technology and I like to use it the way it's designed. I live very far away from my family and friends because I'm an expat, so I use social media to stay in touch with my grandparents, my siblings, my aunts and uncles, my friends. And I appreciate technology, but I am wary about the amount of influence that we let it have on our lives and on our children's lives. And because of that, I have largely chosen a low-tech homeschool, especially because my own kids are very young. I've pretty much chosen a low-tech life for them at this point. And our technology use, I'm sure, will increase as they grow, as they need to gain typing skills, as they need to gain perhaps computer coding skills in the future. But for right now, this is kind of our life. We're low-tech. Just to give you some examples, my husband and I haven't owned a television since we moved overseas, which has been 6 years now. This is my phone. I've had it for a couple years. It's the cheapest smartphone that was pretty much on the market at that time. It's not a Samsung or any fancy brand. It's a nice cheap brand. I love it. I also have not even bothered to take off the barcode or like sticker that came on it when I bought it a couple years ago, because that's how much I'm just not into phones. Takes too much time to take a sticker off. Yeah. Books are my thing, technology is not. But today let's talk about kind of the reasoning and the heart behind why and when we do use technology. So first, I want to talk about, number one, when you're thinking about technology and homeschool, just know yourself. And that's a big part of my reasoning. For me, I'm not a techie. None of my goals for life involve becoming extremely technologically talented. My brother is a computer network engineer, and I don't understand almost anything he says about work, but I do know that if I have any tech problems, he can basically fix them for me. So I just outsource that, and then I can do what I do best. I don't think everybody needs to be good at everything, and not everybody is passionate about everything. So being super great at technology is not one of my passions. As my kids grow, if they have a passion for technology, coding, networking, engineering, something like that, I am very willing to let them fly in that area. But I don't believe in just, I need to hand them technology just for the sake of it, just because we live in the 21st century. I think there's a lot of beauty in just old-fashioned learning and in learning to appreciate that. I think some parents are worried that if they don't introduce technology, their kids are not going to be able to catch up or to keep up with what kids are expected to know, with technology that is expected to be used in today's future. So they are giving tablets to children so that they can learn. But I don't think we really need to be that concerned about it. I mean, I didn't get my first smartphone until my upper 20s, and I learned how to use it just fine. I mean, I might not have a million apps, but I can use it for everything I need to. I don't think technology is that hard to learn to use that we need to be introducing it to our toddlers to make sure that they know how to swipe up. It's just how I feel about it. And I'd rather spend the time just introducing them to nature, good books, hands-on play, fine motor skills. There are studies that show that this motion for different commands is actually not a very good skill for young toddlers to be practicing with so much. It doesn't help develop their fine motor skills in the ways other activities do. So we don't do coloring apps, we do coloring and coloring books. That's just kind of how we do it. Know yourself And if you are a really techie person and you really enjoy it, your lifestyle is probably going to look a lot different from ours. But know yourself and do what you fits your personality and your values. The second reason why we don't use a lot of technology in our homeschool is because I do have very young kids right now. When you spend a lot of time doing research on development for toddlers and preschool age kids, you'll often find that apps and videos and movies are not necessarily the most effective way for them to learn what they need to be learning right. Number two reason why we don't use a whole lot of technology in our homeschool is because we have very young kids, toddlers, preschools, babies, and from what I've learned about development so far is that actually what kids really need at this stage is not best delivered by app or by TV or by movie or video. You can, of course, there's lots of awesome learning cartoons and learning songs on YouTube, and you can have your kids listen to them. But I've noticed that when they're listening to a really flashy song on YouTube, sometimes they just kind of get caught up and zoned in on staring at the great and awesome cartoons of ants marching up a hill. Whereas if you are just sitting and singing with your child, they can kind of actually focus more on saying the words with you. So actually, I maybe get my ideas for songs from YouTube, like maybe I first learn them from there for days of the week songs or different kinds of learning songs that we use. But then primarily, when I'm doing song time during the day with my preschooler, I don't actually use YouTube videos for the songs. I just sing them together with him and dance together with him. And he seems to be able to focus much better on the words of the song and on the actions when he's not watching a video and we're just singing it together in real life. I just think spending time outdoors, reading real books are building the skills in a more effective way than apps do. So even though, yes, there are lots of apps designed at preschool learning things, and I have heard positive results that kids are learning different facts, they're learning alphabet, they're learning numbers, they're learning different skills through these apps. I personally think that at this preschool age, that what they learn through apps is not necessarily the types of skills that they need to be developing at this stage of their lives. I don't think that they need to be that they're the top priority, which for me during the preschool age, it's more skills of motor skills development, skills of critical thinking and understanding how the world works, skills for relationship building, obedience, learning to grow in that attention span, grow in the concept of, hey, there's words on this page and my mom's reading the same words when she reads the same story again, so these letters, these marks, they must mean something. These are the kind of skills that are more important to me to develop during these toddler and preschool years, and none of them to me are best developed through technology. So later on, you'll be using technology a lot more for typing classes, coding classes, things that it makes sense to use technology for. And number three, another reason why I have a more low-tech homeschool is because I can have more control over the messages that children are hearing. And don't take this in the wrong way. I'm not like a ultra-controlled person. They can only hear my perspective and what I believe. I actually really believe in exposing children to different beliefs and cultures and perspectives on history, but I also want to know what they're being exposed to. So a lot of times when I'm reading a book to a kid, I can kind of stop and make my own commentary. We have some older books that, you know, take some very interesting approaches to people like Thomas Jefferson, Christopher Columbus, and such that are more heroification than I think is appropriate, or than I think people should be comfortable with, because I think it's very hard on a kid that at a young age they learn about Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin and Christopher Columbus and all these kind of characters from history, and they learn, well, we should learn diligence from this person, and we should learn honesty from this person, and we should learn, you know, all these like positive character traits. And I don't really like that way of looking at history and looking at these very flawed individuals. And so I will often add change it a little bit what the book is saying, or add commentary of my own, like, is this the way that we should be thinking about this? Or actually, I don't feel that this is true about this person. Now, granted, we should maybe get some better history books, but where we live and under current conditions, we haven't been able to even go shopping for new curriculum in several years. So we're working with what we have. But when you're working with what you have and you are a person reading the book and reading with the brain, you can edit as you go, you can add commentary as you go, you can create a discussion about it. Whereas when you're a parent using technology, and a lot of the times, and I totally understand this, you start a video for your kid and then you walk away because you need that 10 minutes to fold the laundry or something. That's the reason you're using it. But then when you start a video and you walk away, you don't know what they're hearing. You don't know exactly the message that's being taught. You can't have a conversation about it because you're not listening to it. And okay, granted, you could stick around for the whole video, but that's also sometimes defeating the purpose of technology because sometimes you use it when you just need a break or you need them occupied for a little while. So that's just a consideration to keep in mind, that we want to participate in the messages that our children are hearing. Not that we want to control everything they hear or make sure they hear only what we believe, because we do want them to hear beliefs from a variety of different viewpoints and learn to think critically about what they hear and what they believe themselves. But we can't help them do that when we're not part of the conversation. So that's just another point about technology and why we have chosen a lower amount of technology usage in our homes. So to sum it all up, my philosophy is use technology when it makes sense. We use technology for, I let my teenage sister, I have her watch some Chinese television shows, I have her do some Chinese games online. This gives her more practice with listening to a language that we can't speak all day long in our home. So it's giving her extra language practice that she couldn't get without technology. She's getting to hear the words, hear them spoken naturally. This is a great and effective way to use technology. It's something that we couldn't do without it. We do use technology, but we're just careful where it makes sense to. I don't have my children listen to a read aloud video when I could just read them aloud a book myself. Maybe if I want them to hear a very specific book and I can't find that book anywhere, that's when I would have them listen to a read aloud video. But I wouldn't just choose it just because it's there type of thing. So that's what I would encourage homeschool moms to do, is not necessarily use technology because it's there, but to use technology when you choose to and when you know that this is the best choice for your family right now. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it gives you something to think about as you think about using technology with your children, whatever age they are, and to make your own choices. And I would love to hear about where you have found it most useful to use different kinds of internet technology in your home and in your homeschool. So leave that in the comments below, and do give this video a thumbs up, and feel free to continue the conversation. And what do you think about the benefits and the disadvantages of technology in homeschool? Thanks so much for watching, and do subscribe to our channel, 7 in All, for more adventurous, creative homeschool content. Bye! So, you know, our family actually does have an iPad for school. My sister, who currently lives in China, she gave it to our family 5 years ago. And she had bought it from a friend who was a coworker for like $100 because the screen was all cracked. And 5 years later, the screen is still all cracked, because why would we do anything about that? And the kids do use it for like figuring out the pronunciation of a word sometime. But yeah, this is our dedication to providing educational technology for our family.